Hey guys, and welcome. So good for you to be here. If you're here because you saw my short video that I did, the 3-minute video on Wicked for Good, then you are in the right place. Because like I said in that video, guys, I'm actually going to go through this fully fleshed out, my really fleshed out thoughts on Wicked for Good. I'm glad you could be here. I really appreciate it. Why don't you take a minute really quickly, like this video, share this video, subscribe to this video, leave a comment, and don't forget this is Superman Steve, not flying out quite yet because I haven't even rolled that intro yet. However, let's talk about it. Guys, I'm gonna roll that introduction, which I love giving you guys, and then I'm gonna go into deep dive detail on my personal thoughts, good and bad, on Wicked for Good. See you soon. So straight out of the gate, guys, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about a gripe that I had with this movie. Anyone who's been following my channel for any period of time, you know, if you have seen my movie review for Wicked, the original one, it has the same cast, the exact same cast in it as Wicked for Good. They all came back to reprise their roles. I loved that movie. I loved it so much. That movie knocked it out of the park. That movie blew my mind. I could I could visually see and audibly hear the grandeur of the scale that Wicked had. Like, it was so clear, it was so obvious, it was just so masterfully, wonderfully, brilliantly, awesomely blew my mind and my expectations out of the water. It really did. Considering that it's the prequel for The Wizard of Oz. If you didn't know that, now you do. And the reason why I'm bringing the fact that it's the prequel to The Wizard of Oz up is because of the fact that I'm actually going to be talking about characters in a comparison way from Wicked, from The Wizard of Oz. Obviously, they completely changed the characters in wholesomeness, yeah, totally, because The Wizard of Oz came out a hot minute ago, whereas Wicked is fresh out of the gate, and Wicked for Good is super new, super classic, and fresh, literally 2025, literally came out yesterday. So straight out of the gate, guys, I want to talk about this. I want to gripe on something. Like I said at the beginning of this movie review, guys, I'm going to flesh it out pretty hardcore. As I said in the opening, Guys, anyone who has been following my YouTube channel for any period of time, I just want to let you know now in advance. If you don't know, you're about to know. I actually don't do spoilers. That's right, right there. No spoilers in my movie review, guys. So if you're after anything that you want to know specifically about this movie and you want to know in detail, head on over to another reviewer and they will tell you about this film in spoiler detail, but you won't get it here. Now, without further ado, guys, I want to say this before I flesh it out. Like you saw in the opening of my movie review, this runtime is pretty heavy. It's not an Avatar movie, but it is 2 hours and 18 minutes long. So get your popcorn, get a large beverage of any description. Keep your mouth moist and lubricated because this is a journey. This is a long journey. This is a massive journey. Because of the fact that the teaser trailer, I think it was the teaser trailer, and Wicked, the movie Wicked, both of those movies showed Dorothy, Toto, the Lion, Scarecrow, and Tin Man. Okay, both movies did. They teased it. They gave us the element, and I just really recently just saw a comment and I replied to it just then on my 3-minute quick thoughts, straight out of the cinema. Somebody asked me if I had even seen the musical because my review reminded them, the viewer, of my thoughts saying that sounds more like the musical, and I get it. I get it. But I also understand that this isn't the musical at all. This is the live stage show. Do you know what I mean? This isn't the musical. This is the movie. This is the movie. This isn't the theater production of Wicked. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad to any degree in any way, shape, or form. But I was wholeheartedly, because of the fact that they teased Toto, Dorothy, Tin Man, Scarecrow, and the Lion in the teaser trailer. My expectations of this movie was that I was going to see these characters that I know so dearly, so wholesomely, so fleshed out more. And I'm going to give you a massive bah. This is the biggest thing I didn't like about this movie, guys. This is so annoying, but it is. This is just what happened. The first time you see Dorothy in this movie, the camera is panning up and backwards from a shot, and Dorothy is with the Munchkins and Toto, and she's skipping behind a hut that one of the Munchkins obviously live in. And when she goes behind it, that's it. Then you see Glinda. Those of you who have seen The Wizard of Oz, you'll know where she's just come from. She's just come from Munchkin Land. She's just killed the Wicked Witch of the East, and which they go into. By the way, I don't want to spoil anything, but they actually do go into detail of why the Wicked Witch of the East, why she was murdered, killed in this movie, because somebody gave the order to. And when you see it, you'll get it. Anyway, I digress. When we see Dorothy, we literally see a side profile of her face, like literally the back side of her face, and she's running off, like skipping into the, going to see Oz. She's Emerald City. So that's the only time you see her. Immediately once I knew that that's how I was going to see Dorothy, I knew that the film directors, there was something in me that was like, okay, the film directors don't want us to see Dorothy. They don't want us to see Dorothy. We're not going to see Dorothy in this movie. Sadly, I was right. That's not a spoiler because you don't see her. Anytime that you see Dorothy, you never see her face. You see her from the shoulders down, like running past camera. And the only other time you almost see her is when she's holding the broomstick. And if you've seen The Wizard of Oz, you know what I'm talking about here. You see her after she's poured the water onto the witch and on Elphaba, and she holds the broomstick in the air and then she runs off. Again, side profile, and you don't see her face. I was really disheartened by that. I had just had this expectations that you would see her to some form. Another shot where, if you remember The Wizard of Oz, where they've kind of pinned them into a circle. Tin Man and all, they're standing around a circle. The only one that gets, and I'll talk about Tin Man in a minute, but the only one that gets screen time is Tin Man and the Lion. And if you saw my 3 minute my quick 3 minute out of the cinema reaction, I go into detail the fact that Lion just like comes into the movie. He's just there. There's no background story like the Tin Man or Scarecrow. There's no background story behind them to any degree at all. They don't even touch upon Dorothy in Wicked for Good. Like they mention her a few times, but it's so sprinkled in there. It's unreal. You do audibly hear her, but it's really far away. And if you remember the movie, when Oz gets in his hot air balloon and he's going to go up, and Dorothy's, wait for me. Wait, you've got to take me back to Kansas. You hear her running and you visually see her running. And Ariana Grande, who plays Glinda, mentions, that farmer girl's, still trying to find her way home. That's it though. That's all you see and / hear from Dorothy. I was so annoyed. I really genuinely thought that they would have had at least a bit of her, and they would have motion captioned her eyes and shown her face or whatever, so that it would have been like, that's awesome, whatever. You know what I mean? You get it. They don't to any degree at all. It's crazy. Now, I want to talk about this scene real quick before I forget it. Those of you who have seen The Wizard of Oz, and if you haven't seen The Wizard of Oz, go and see The Wizard of Oz, guys, before you continue watching this review, and then come back, because you'll understand. And if you haven't seen The Wizard of Oz, you should have by now, because it's super old. However, if you know anything about the backstory about The Wizard of Oz, I want to tell you about this. The amazing, the wonderful Margaret Hamilton, who plays the Wicked Witch of the West, who has been replaced in Wicked by Cynthia Erivo. She now plays the Wicked Witch of the West, who obviously her as playing Elphaba. There is a backstory behind what happened to Margaret Hamilton and what happened to her physically. She got really badly hurt on set, literally. And so if you know the backstory, I'm going to tell you the backstory because it's really fascinating. It's kind of a bit of trivia to The Wizard of Oz. So this is what happened to her. This is what happened to Margaret Hamilton real life on the set of The Wizard of Oz. She was supposed to escape down a trap door, and when the smoke goes around, I'm melting. And then she escapes down a trap door that opens up and then closes, so you don't actually see what happens to her. In real life, that trap door opened and there was a malfunction to it, and Margaret Hamilton got 3rd-degree burns all over her body, and she was in hospital for like a really long time, and none of the cast or crew visited her to see if she was okay. There's so many horror stories behind the movie The Wizard of Oz. It's unprecedented. You'd be like, no way. way, like big time way. So they actually in Wicked for Good show us that with Dorothy and Cynthia Erivo, with obviously Elphaba. They show that. However, you're like, wait, you said that we don't see Dorothy at all. Correct. We actually see that entire sequence played out. From The Wizard of Oz in Wicked for Good, right? You see it played out from Ariana Grande, who plays Glinda. You see it, she's in something, she's inside something. I don't want to give it away. She's inside something, and we're seeing this whole thing played out through the crack of something. Okay, when you see, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's literally played out through the crack of something, and we're seeing their shadows. The whole thing, all we're seeing is their shadows on a wall, like in it's pretty not that far away. And that's how we see what happens to Elphaba. Right at the end of Wicked for Good, the behind the scenes of what we know about the making of The Wizard of Oz is actually revealed at the end of Wicked for Good. And it's like, and I audibly out loud in the cinema went, wow. Because I've heard about the horror stories, but you never see it, but they show you. And it's like, oh, that's crazy. Very well done. Speaking of well done, which is a beautiful segue into my next point, guys. The guy who plays Tin Man in Wicked for Good, and those of you who don't know, Wicked is actually the pure perfect lead up into Wicked for Good, and it's really well done. Like I said at the beginning of this movie review, guys, all the characters that are in Wicked all play their same roles in Wicked for Good, and it's awesome. Ethan Slater plays the Tin Man in Wicked for Good, and also Wicked, who obviously is making his role from the original character, who is also played by Jack Haley. He was the original Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz. When you see the subtle, and it's pretty awesome. It is actually pretty awesome. When you see the subtle transformation of how Tin Man becomes Tin Man, and yes, you see it in Wicked for Good, it's pretty awesome. When you visually, he comes out, and I'm like, I kid you not, in any way, shape, or form, guys, he comes out, and I legitimately 100% fully thought that it was Jack Haley. Oh, dead set, was like, whoa. His face looked so much like it. It was crazy awesome. It was almost like a cameo. And if it isn't a cameo, he might have passed away already, probably. But if he's not, and that was a cameo, like it just, he actually played him, wowzers. I'd love to find that out, but I don't think it is. But when you see him, Tin Man, come out in full makeup as Ethan Slater as Tin Man, I was so impressed. I was so impressed. I don't know how they did it. They might have done motion capture, I'm not too sure. But it was awesome. Like, it was so awesome. Like I said at the opening, guys, when they introduced Lion, that's complete CGI. That's not a real person. They literally used a lion. They didn't dress someone up in any way, shape, or form. It was an animated motion capture lion. And the actor who plays Scarecrow, again, is just digitally on him because he's actually a character. So they don't actually, lion isn't actually a person. It's just a lion who can speak. And it's pretty cool. However, like I said, the storyline of how they get to him is pretty ridiculous. So again, I'm going to talk about, I just wasn't impressed at all with the songs in this movie. I was I had popcorn with me, eating my popcorn. I don't eat popcorn in movies, guys. Like, I don't eat popcorn. I had breakfast, but I didn't have lunch when I went into this movie because I was too excited to see it. So I just ate popcorn because I was like, yeah, it's food, whatever. So when I was eating the popcorn, I was like, yeah, no, I've got to put something in my guts. I'm glad I did because I was really struggling to stay awake. And I mean, I was really struggling to stay awake. Unbelievably struggling to stay awake in this, crazily. Every song that came on, I just wasn't impressed with. I really wasn't. It didn't hit me. It didn't make me want to continue watching the movie. Like, it was a nod fest. Like, it really was. I don't even like saying that, but it was. It was very unfortunate, but it didn't hit at all. Every song just, yeah. But the scope and scale, guys, the scope and scale of this movie is obviously very clear that they had an unbelievably amazing amount of money. Like, an unprecedented amount of money to put in this movie. Like, the scope and scale was just so awesome. It was so huge, it was so grand, it was so spectacular. It was very, very clear that they put a lot of money in this movie. They had a lot of money to work with in this movie, and they never shied away from that to any degree at all in any part of this movie. So I don't normally talk about this side of movies, but I wanted to bring this up because it really impacted me visually. Not so much the song. I didn't really care for the song, but visually, what I saw was like, whoa! I would literally have that as a screensaver on my Mac because it was so awesome. There's a song that Elphaba is singing, played by Cynthia Erivo, where she's singing about the fact that she's not going to do good anymore because every time she tries to do good, it turns bad. And when you see the song played out, the grand visual of what we're watching in front of us is just amazing. And so she sings this song, and then, again, this isn't a spoiler, you'll see it. She's right in the middle, and she's floating, because she can fly, and all the monkeys are facing the camera, and they're flying, they're just hovering there, right? And that visually seen, the camera's like back, like it's, you know, a massive scale shot of, you know, the surrounding atmosphere of where she is. And I thought to myself, I would literally, just that shot itself, I would literally have that on my wallpaper as at home because it was just so awesome. It was so awesome. Absolutely love that. It was just so grand and so spectacular. It was so good. So I'll wrap this movie review, guys, up. I just want to really quickly say thank you so much for watching this movie review. This is my final thoughts on Wicked for Good, and I want to wrap this up with this. I was very impressed, and I thought it was super clever of how Wicked for Good actually portrays and shows us visually how the Yellow Brick Road was actually created, because in real life, even though modern days the technology and the mechanics of it are totally different, but the way they actually do it is actually exactly the same. It's exactly the same. You actually see how the Yellow Brick Road is made in this movie, and it's really clever. Really clever, and how they seamlessly are creating the Yellow Brick Road, and how, you know, Oz the Great and the Powerful is, you know, he has ordered it to be made. How the Wicked Witch of the West, who was played by Margaret Hamilton, is now played by Cynthia Erivo. Cynthia Erivo's character comes in and sort of messes it up, but how it's actually made is awesome. So would I recommend Wicked for Good? I would, because it is a direct sequel, same cast, everything like that. And if you loved the musical, then you're gonna love this movie. You're gonna love this movie. I'm not hating on this movie to any degree. I just had expectations of what I thought I would see to what they showed me in the trailer. but I didn't get that at all. But I would recommend this movie because I think you're gonna love it. In fact, you know, my partner has a daughter, and I'm gonna take my partner and her daughter to see this movie because I genuinely, wholeheartedly think that they're both gonna really love this movie. Like I said, if you've seen Wicked, if you know the musical, you're gonna love this because, you know, they're singing. Both of their singing is absolutely mind-blowingly, brilliantly, epically amazing, like you know if you've seen the musical, and it's also as spectacular in Wicked for Good. You guys have been amazing. I appreciate being here so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for clicking on. Thank you for letting me share my experience with you for Wicked for Good. I really appreciate it. I value it so much. And until my next movie review and or trailer reaction, whatever I drop on my channel, this is Superman Steve, appreciating you always and loving your time. Flying out!